The Say Something podcast is brought to you by amomentwithmorris.com and blackblueprints.com. That's blackblueprints with a Z.com. I am Jermaine Morris here with the one and only Mr. Barry Accius.
Yes, sir.
We are bringing you the Say Something podcast.
Say something, say something, say something.
Yes, where we get together and talk about everything going on in the life, in the world, and the traffic out here in these streets.
In these cold streets.
Coming at you with episode number 59.
59!
Been a minute.
Man, feels like a long minute, but, you know, we've been busy. We've been working.
Yeah, a slight hiatus. This episode, I'd like to dedicate to a particular individual who's had a lot of press coming from his side of the country.
Golden State Killer.
No.
Oh, my bad.
No. This gentleman is the complete opposite. If anything was going to speak about his character or his integrity, personality.
R. Kelly.
Still complete opposite. Though he's done so much in so many levels. Forbes has got him labeled as Mr. Blockbuster.
Kanye West.
Not yet. He's out of 21 films he's done, 17 of them have grossed over $100 million. He is a 5-time Golden Globe nominee, 2-time Academy Award nominee, 4-time Grammy Award winner. Not only has he been very successful in music, TV, film, but also philanthropic. He and his son have invested into an eco-friendly water business. And this is why I give him props as well, where they focused on there's some science to how you're supposed to package water. Like clear bottles is not actually safer. It should be in paper like they used to do old milk cartons. And so they're focusing on water, and until the situation has been rectified, they're even the company, the two of them, him and his son, own together. They're donating water to Flint, Michigan every month because the lead poisoning has been so high. Grows more than enough money than he'll spend in his life, and spending a lot of it helping other people. And that's usually a phrase that's associated when people talk about him. West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Meek Mill.
On the playgrounds where he spent most of his day. Shout out one time to Mr. Willard Smith. Willard Carroll Smith.
Carroll
Smith Jr. Will Smith to the rest of the world.
Yeah. I don't know why you've been on this hiatus and you still ain't got us horns, but it's all good.
It's good. But I give him props. His region of the world where he's from, Pennsylvania, has been catching a lot of press, and so to have a shining, little shining light out there is necessary, because I think we need to, as we highlight the quote-unquote problems of the world, we do need to give props to the folks who are doing it the right way. And like I said, aside from his musical...
How long has he been with his wife for? Jada? Sexy Jada?
Well, shoot, that's... Jaden's grown, so 20 years. Got to be close to 20 years. Right? Got to be close to 20 years.
It's not longer than that?
I'm saying about.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, because
they've been a while.
Because them are grown, and they was born up, they was under him, they was done the right way. But like I said, the music, the TV shows, the movies, all that is great. But his company, Just Water, I give props to stuff like that. I mean, it's good that you got a talent, you got an ability when it comes to doing songs, doing TVs, doing movies. I take nothing away from his artistic talent, but to then turn around and see the need, he ain't from Flint.
Nah,
he's not from Michigan.
Salute to the brother doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Taking your own money, taking your own country. Still
God's
urine-colored water coming out the faucet.
Call it what he call it, man. Golden piss water, man.
Now they're having so many issues of all the children, and the lead poisoning levels are so high out there in Flint.
America does not care about black children.
They don't care about nobody out there. And so for him to him and his son Jaden to come together and to donate just every month to keep dropping off cases and cases of water so these people can bathe and not get rashes and chemical burns on their bodies or drink this poisonous stuff. And so that's why I was really wanting to give a salute to him and what they doing out there. Lots happened since we got together last. Been a few weeks, a little traveling. A
lot of traveling.
One thing before we move too forward, another round of applause I'd like to give out would be to you, sir.
Oh,
Shout out to Mr. Barry Accius. I got the pleasure to accept an award on your behalf.
There it is. It's sitting right there. What is that?
In Sacramento Black Chamber of Commerce. You can speak on that.
I mean, you tell me. You was there.
It was. I got to speak on his behalf.
Man.
And accept the award on his behalf while he was still out doing the work out there on the Voice of the Youth College tour.
Yes, sir, I was.
And just to have a bunch of people of the business community, political circles, all that sort of stuff come together, and they gave out just a couple of awards.
I hope you gave them like the truth, because I still haven't seen the video of what you said.
Oh, the speech killed. The speech,
I'm sure it did, but I hope
killed.
you wasn't like. Hope you added a few of the things that I asked you to add. You know, just because that's just me.
No, you was covered. Everybody who knew you personally, who heard it, were like, that represents probably. Because I think that those things are important because there's more than enough. It becomes very easy to talk about the problems going on in the world. It becomes very easy to talk about the people that we don't think are doing the right thing or need to be doing stuff better. But that can't be all our energy and all our focus.
Not at all.
We do need to acknowledge the folks who are out there doing the right stuff. Mm-hmm. And then that actually drives people because, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If we only talk about the problems and you're doing the right thing and nobody, gives two F's about you, it makes it harder for some people to do the right thing. So I think we got to give energy to the positive things happening. And so it was good that the community acknowledged the work that you do.
About time.
And I think that we got to give those handouts.
Yeah,
so thank you for what you do out here.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think it's about time. Not trying to say I'm not humble about the awards. I've been doing this for a long time. I definitely appreciate my brother, Jermaine, for stepping in my place. I couldn't have picked a brother to be in that space, be in that position, last minute, and being able to, I feel, articulate the movement, articulate the work, and articulate, who I am, where folks could really feel it, but continue to be as real and authentic as you are, as well as continue to keep it real and authentic in the person that I am. So I definitely appreciate that. And, I just believe that some of these awards, they have a lot of times catered themselves to be a part of a bigger in-group. So for them stepping out, really seeing people that are doing mass work that is not a part of like the in circle, it lets them know, and lets me know that they're finally recognizing the truth. And that's just the reality. I'm like so many other folks have dedicated my life to change, and I don't really run into circles where it could be all on Barry, because if I did, I'd probably get an award every year. I just don't have time for it. And at the same time, a lot of the time, I think a lot of these awards are fake. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of BS. I would have rather had a check than an award. But hey, I'm recognized. I'm thankful. It shows off the work. I continue to continue to put pressure on individuals to step up their game, because there's a lot of work to be done. And, like I said, it's always humbling being honored, but it's also humbling when I have partnerships like you and other individuals that I strive for, my youngsters. That is more this is for us moment compared to it's about me. So it's always about a us. It's always about a we, because I do it for us. I do it for we. I don't do it for me. I just am a catalyst of the moment and the movement and just a big voice in it. But to be able to have a good friend take the award on my behalf while I could still do work, because I was very, I was in a tough position, because it was like I was already at the college award, and they're like, yo, by the way, and I was like, I didn't want to diss them, because I want to, honor that, but I also want to honor it in the sense of being truthful. But I for sure wasn't about to change my trips. That's what it wasn't going to happen. So I appreciate you going out there, grabbing that. I'm bringing it home for the team. And I know there's more things to come. And when they do come, trust and believe they'll be as raw and as real when I'm getting on the mic to telling the truth, because I think that's what's lacking in the black community. You just got to respect people's truth.
Yeah, I think that it's important that people who are being their genuine selves is highlighted. I'm a firm believer in when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
And you can gauge that by not only the words that come out of their mouth, but the moves they make consistently. Not, one random, act of kindness or one.
And I am a consistent motherfucker, regardless of however you hate to feel or think about it. I'm just a consistent motherfucker. That's what keeps it all so real.
Well, the consistent part of human behavior is what I look at. So whenever somebody does something and it's they do something positive, they do something nice, they do something kind, whatever, I'm like, okay, I acknowledge that for what it is. To the same accord, when somebody does something on the other side of the game, when somebody's, out of pocket, somebody's disrespectful, somebody's whatever, I look at first isolated incidences, and then I look at patterns of behavior. Mm-hmm. I look at, was this just somebody having a bad day? Was this just, you just caught somebody on the wrong time and that's just what came out their mouth? Or is this something that's a pattern of behavior? And something that's been going on a lot, I charge to patterns of behavior as opposed to isolated incidences. So the reason why I was also giving nods to Will coming out of his region of Pennsylvania, because they've had a lot of stuff in the news as of lately. There was the issue with the brothers in the Starbucks, where you had two brothers who showed up. One asked to use the restroom. They said, nah, you got to make a purchase. He was like, all right, well, never mind. I'm waiting on somebody. So he just went to go sit down.
Yeah.
And upon sitting down, they came up on him like, you need to get out. After that, the cops was called. They need to leave. They did the timeline. It was like 2 minutes that they had been in the Starbucks before the cops were called to escort them out, where they were ultimately arrested for simply being there while they were waiting for the third party. And they said he's on his way here. And when the cops arrived, the other member showed up. Like, it's not like they were posted up for hours.
A white member.
And it was like, look, now we just waiting on homie. We're having a meeting, whatever. Starbucks notorious for free Wi-Fi. I'm going to post up. We holding job interviews here. We're doing this, that, and the third. But the fact is that how quickly these brothers was just arrested. Like, didn't even know what they were being arrested for. They weren't even asked to leave by the officers. They were just put in the cufties, and it was time to take a trip to the station. And that's such a global franchise that Starbucks is that they tried to since then go back and say that we're going to address this, and the president, CEO, whatever, thought it was bad. But what I was looking at is that behavior in that Starbucks with the behavior in the Waffle House, where the black woman was the cops was called on her because she wanted a corporate number about the franchise, about an incident that had happened. She was then tackled and thrown to the ground. You had the issues where just repeatedly in different businesses, we are treated a certain way.
Call it what it is, anti-blackness.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about Jed's, taco shack, where it's one isolated business that's a sole proprietor that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about national chains. International, and you just see the disrespect consistently.
Yeah.
To the point to where, what does that say as a whole? Like, when you realize that you are not valued as a patron, that your dollar don't mean anything. Because we always talk about within the community the spending power of black people.
Trillions and trillions of dollars.
When it's looked upon as, you can keep your little money. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it's looked at as, I don't care how much you spend. I don't want you here. I don't care if you live in this neighborhood. I don't care how much you paid for your house. I don't want you here. I don't care how much your tuition costs that you pay to come to school here. I don't want you here. Case of a young boy who was lost, knocked on his neighbor's door for directions and was shot at.
Damn.
I don't want you here.
Or in New York City, parents arguing back and forth in an influential community that they don't want more black students coming into their school.
Yeah. Prominent Penn State sorority leader.
Syracuse.
Throwing the N-word all around and talking about, I should be able to say the N-word, I should be able to say in this, and if you don't like it, suck it, whatever. The fraternity, the initiation, where as a part of the inductee, the process is that You have zero tolerance for N-words, for derogatory terms for Hispanic people and for Jews. I don't care if you go to school here. I don't care what your tuition is. I don't care if you're here on a scholarship. I don't want you here.
Listen. And also, we can't forget the white boy that had the sign talking about the, his prom date or asking for the prom date.
If I was black, I'd be picking cotton.
Yeah.
But because I'm white, I'm picking you.
Shots out to the white boy.
Florida.
Of course, Florida.
I didn't know it was offensive.
Shots out to the white boy that had the bravery to go ahead and make that sign actually have it go viral. Shots out to the. Yeah, let's give that man a round of applause. I got to. All right. And as the world turns, R. Kelly is giving girls STDs. But we'll talk about that later. Let's go into this anti-blackness, because this seems to be a running theme. But it's a running theme that is a continuation of a movie that has been played out here in America forever. Ever since we were shipped down and enslaved. It's always been that. The thing about now is it's recorded, it's live, it's going viral, and you get to share it amongst your friends. So let's be very clear. This anti-blackness, this racism against black people, people of color, has not started when Donald Trump was elected. It did not happen when Obama was elected. This is a continuum of things that have happened, patterns that have been traced throughout history, because America has refused to do the right thing. America has refused to talk about race. Black people have refused to build black. Black people have refused to look at white supremacy in a way to where it's like, okay, we get it, we got it, got to get our own. The bottom line is, when you choose to have your enemy be your spokesperson, your enemy to be your provider, your enemy to be your education, your enemy to be your protector, your enemy to be the sole collector of all things that is you culturally, and benefit off of it more than you do, right? When you allow a person or persons to control imagery, narrative, you are going to get exactly what you're getting right now. If the Negroes would put more emphasis in supporting their own black-owned franchises, you don't have incidents like Starbucks. It's a simple thing I always like to tell people, and I've said it on this show before. If you are living with your spouse, would you have 1 or 2 cars?
2.
Why?
So you could have your own.
Why
necessary.
Would you? But why? What's necessary? I mean, that's your spouse. You're together.
One's got to go to work on one side of town. One's got a dentist appointment on the other side of town. If one takes one to go do something, you're not just hostage.
Yeah.
Or you're not scrambling or borrowing, or
Right.
It's just a convenience thing, and then it's an efficiency thing.
And at the end of the day, you are not powerless.
Yeah.
If you guys break up, you guys are not splitting half that car. If you guys break up, there ain't going to be no arguing about who's taking the car. You going to take your keys and, hey, it was a good run. Thank you. That's the simple, way of putting this, analyzing it in so many different realms. We can, we should, we did. Black people just got to seriously wake up. The oppressive manner that we kind of lay our direction and hoping and begging and pleading for white America to finally accept us will never ever happen. The acceptance of white America will always be in a position where what can we do for them, right? No. Like, how can we benefit off of black pain? How can we benefit off of black sweat? How can we benefit off of black personality, black culture, the physicalness of black people, the emotions of black people, the dollars of black people, of the ingenuity, the brilliance of black people. How can we benefit? And if we cannot benefit from it, we will take it. I mean, this has been the same relationship. Black people have been in a domestic violence relationship with white America culturally forever. It's never been anything different. It's just now we get to see it double fold. Going to Starbucks. It happened here last summer. I remember visiting a Starbucks in a predominantly area of color on Mac Road here in Sacramento. An area where there's I won't say majority black, but at one particular time it was, but it's a majority color folks are there. And in this Starbucks, the only Starbucks that they have in this area, right, which is kind of odd as well, but it kind of lets you know that things are going to happen sooner or later. Wait for another 5 or 10 years, right? Yeah. Starbucks pops up in this big shopping center where you have tons of vacancies. A shopping center that was mostly for smaller businesses. And of course, you think about the overhead, rent's probably overly high, folks aren't really spending. But because we have been programmed to understand what a franchise is, because it's been commercialized in our mind through media, you see Starbucks, that is a stamp of approval for the best coffee. So they have a Starbucks over there. One particular time, I kind of noticed that they didn't have any more plugins. No. I was like, wait a minute. I remember coming there 2 weeks ago. They didn't have any plugins, and they have a pretty much a bad issue with homeless folks coming in and out of that place of business. And of course, you got a lot of black youth coming in, Latino youth coming in, and for certain Starbucks customers that are not a quote unquote in this community, but might drive in, might work in different areas, because we do have a Kaiser around the corner, might make them feel uncomfortable. So I saw that, I recorded it. It went out to a bunch of folks. We were having a real conversation about it. A guy that I know who I've worked with at one of these youth programs at actually the center around the corner from this Starbucks was kind of like, well, I talked to the manager. It's a new policy that they're trying to create and save. And I said, you know what? That's bullshit. I know what it is, because you go down to other predominantly white communities. Starbucks got all the plugins. Wow. Starbucks has every single person sitting there doing what they do, plug in, doing homework, having meetings. It was a basic slap and really racially profiling this community, as they do all the time. So seeing this happen in a Starbucks, it doesn't surprise me. I am just surprised that everybody is surprised.
Well, I think just for clarification, if people don't get the plugins, the electrical sockets where you would plug your cell phones in to charge them, your laptops in to use, had flat face plates over them. So for most people, if you think about the electrical sockets of where you go into to plug your electronic devices in, all those had covers. So instead of having the two set of prong, little entry points, it's just a clear flat, just sheet over it. And I know their argument was it was against homeless. Like that was that's what they were trying to stand on. That it keeps the homeless out.
So homeless can't sit there and plug in their phone?
Whatever. First off, I personally don't know a whole lot of homeless people who walk around toting around a lot of electronics. I don't know too many homeless cracking open the MacBook. That's just me. Maybe I haven't paid close enough attention. But going along with what you're saying about how we have this theme of how we're treated, and why it's so important that this is not a campaign to say black people need to get away from everybody. It doesn't mean that you can't frequent an Asian restaurant, you can't frequent a Hispanic-run dry cleaner. It just means that there needs to be as much, if not more, value in creating our own than it does in supporting other people. They had another issue out there in lovely Pennsylvania where it had the incident on the golf course. Now, this is a prominent area of...
That happened in Philly, too?
Just outside. Where these are people who are doing well. So we're not talking about... This is not a homeless situation. This is not a struggling situation. These were all golf course members, where it was a group of black women who were golfing. And the police was called on them by a group of white men who were saying that they were taking too long. Now, I don't know if you've ever golfed... But the first thing is that if the group is behind you, if the group in front of you is taking too long, like they're going slow, there's something that you call play through. where if you and your group are just kind of lagging, you guys are kind of off pace, I'll just, hey, can we just play through? Can we just, more or less, can we just skip you? Can we play through this hole, go past you, go about our business because y'all was moving kind of slow? Well, the club's, the golf course's policy was that you need to finish at about 4 hours and 20 minutes is your for 18 holes. Anything longer than that, you're kind of struggling. So the cops were called after the women had been through the front nine, halfway through the course at the 2 hour mark. So they were still on pace within the rules of the golf course. But the group behind them was just more or less didn't like looking at them. More or less just didn't like just dealing with them and seeing them there. So they didn't call the golf course people to take care of it. They called the police. Call the cops, like y'all need to go. And I think that where we're at now is that's a go-to. We're being told repeatedly. Like I said, I don't care if you're a member.
Well, here's the also thing about it. That goes into that same situation with the black women that went to the winery.
Yeah. Paid to go. Like I said, there's the old, the argument was, if I work up, I get my degree, I get the good job, I can afford to live here. Yeah. I can afford to shop here. I can afford to do these things. We just get hit repeatedly. I don't care. They don't. I don't care if you can afford to live here. I don't care if you got into school here. I don't care how much money you want to spend here.
Negro, you will not be accepted. Like, stop. Unless you're dribbling a ball, throwing a football, running a football, catching a football, singing and dancing, rapping ignorant, and being able to help propel white supremacy. I mean, understand that at the end of the day, they don't want you here. Like, they just don't want you here. The fear of white folks losing privilege and losing power is so intimate. There's so much, there's this envious and jealous factor that white folks have against black people for so many other reasons. So many reasons. I mean, our rhythm, our swag, our culture, our resilience, just our brilliance, just everything about us, it creates that I wish, right? Because we are genetically superior in reality. They teach us that we're inferior, but we're genetically superior. I mean, that's just facts. Our melanin, they go to get suntan. They got to run from sun. We glaze in the sun and look at our skin. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many different shades of black that is just so beautiful. The fact is that they utilize the thing to make us believe that we are inferior, that we do need them, that everything has come from them, that they're the original. That's the crazy part. They have ingrained in this idea in our minds. A lot of black people, they have really subconsciously fucked with our heads to the point where we really believe that if it ain't white, it ain't right. And if we don't get a white approval, that we're not making it. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. We want to graduate from their universities. We want to join their exclusive clubs. Like, there be black folks in these all white golf clubs, yeah. Right? They feel so privileged, or
they've made it.
They've made it, or there's these black folks that go into these all white communities, like, that are hella high and just
proud to be the
only black person. So in reality, as much as they did it to us, we did it to ourselves, because we have not engaged in the theory that, wait a minute, I like me, I love me, and having a bunch of me's being in the same position to where we can move and navigate in this group, not in this individual idea, in this group theory, we can really gentrify our own communities, clean up our own selves, get our own business started, and just roll like that. Again, I'm happy you made a point saying we are not prefacing saying hell with everybody, that we won't. I don't mind going to Thai food. I don't mind going to my Middle Eastern spots, Italian spots, whatever. I love other cultures. I think that's the greatest thing about being different. As I teach my young kids and the Inspiring Students for Change, a very multicultural group of Asian, Middle Eastern, Black. You got some white kids. You got some Polynesian kids. You got all a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
That what makes us different makes us great. But I think that we find ourselves fighting our indifferences to want to be and simulate like others to gain acceptance. And I say, hell no. It don't work. It ain't never worked. And why keep trying when you have to understand the minority are white people. The majority are people of color. They every day look at their little window dwindle.
The global majority is brown.
Right? So if you take that into consideration, them knowing that the sins of their forefathers are going to have to come back double fold, some way, somehow, may not be in our lifetime, they are trying to hold on with everything they got. And if we as black people don't realize it's better to have our own prestigious golf course compared to constantly going to other people's shit, always asking someone else, can I sit on your couch, instead of go getting your own and saying, hey, it's my couch, you can invite whoever you want to. We are going to continually have these moments, and these moments are going to continue to go viral, not to show racism, but to show, to break the self-esteem of black people. Because when you feel like people don't want you, that people don't like you, that fucks with you. Like literally, that mentally screws with your brain. So all of this stuff is not exposing racism and saying, here's how we have to go about changing. It's really just showing black people like, joke's on you. That dream speech that Martin Luther King Jr. had, we're not living in it. And at the end of the day, we don't really like you. And that fucks with people's self-esteem.
Okay, so if you take the phrase, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. If that's the idea where you want to go to where you feel best, is there an argument that being mistreated, but I'm not even going to put this on just white people, because the reality of it is you can go to a bunch of other cultures and it's the same.
They all don't like us.
Well, I'm saying, so just to say that, because it's not one of those things of, oh, this is just something specifically that white people are doing to black people. No, you can go to areas where you can go into Asian-owned stores, Middle Eastern-owned stores, and you can get the same treatment. Is it to say that the mistreatment of other races is still better than the treatment of other black people?
Brother.
If you're going, let me just to follow the logic for the folks at home. If you're saying I want to go somewhere where I feel better at, even being mistreated in these places, is that better than how we treat each other in our own businesses and functions and facilities?
Oh, we treat each other like shit. I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
I mean, no, that's the problem. I mean, we treat each other like shit, and that is a huge slap in the face, and that's why other folks do the things that they do.
Yeah, you train people how to treat you.
Yeah, I mean, they look at you. I mean, some of y'all don't got respect for each other, or they'll see a vast majority, and I won't even say a vast majority, but whatever is publicized, yeah. Right? They look at it, the stereotypes and the biases kick in, and next thing you know, it's almost kind of like, well, why are you here? You should go somewhere else. And it's like a lot of us are coming like, well, I can't go over there because they're just as bad. And it's like, well, you're an uninvited guest, but almost I have to serve you because it's the money factor, and it's like whatever, come on in, I'll deal with you.
I'll take your money.
I'll take your money. So the reality is, if this is the come to Jesus moment that black people finally need, because people like myself, you, other individuals have spoke highly about us creating our own, have taught it with our kids, have spoke on it to the level where our own black people looked at us as we were crazy, as we were going against the grain, as we were radicals. And it's like, oh, we're radical. Wait till you really realize what white privilege is and what white supremacy is. And the simple fact that building our own is building a base that is really going to significantly help our generation after generation after generation. You cannot build wealth if you're not a part of ownership. If you don't own, you cannot build wealth. You cannot build a power base. I can't give my daughter a job. I can give my daughter my business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So
that state job, that county job.
It's good. I mean,
for
great.
You, but you
for
can't.
you. But I can't carry that and say, hey, by the way, I know I'm going to die at 75.
And
I'm retiring.
Taking over.
That's not what it is. And the fact that we, one, our support level to our own communities, small businesses, or even bigger businesses, we give up on black businesses as soon as we get a cold piece of cornbread, right? I literally was at a black restaurant in Oakland. I won't speak on it because I don't want to tarnish it because it was decent. But of course, when we talk about cornbread, I preference that to, I got a burnt piece of cornbread and I had waited for an hour and I was like, yo, are you serious? And she's like, I know, honey, just scrape it with your knife. I started that. I say, lady, if you don't hurry me, give me some more cornbread and get me some other sides. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do this, right? Yeah. So instead of me putting it out on Yelp, airing them out, and if people know who I am, I'm a foodie, and a lot of the stuff that I put out there, it gonna catch volume. I said, I'm just going to let this pass, and just kind of go with the flow because overall my experience was good.
Yeah.
But here it is with us. An Asian person don't even talk to us. An Asian person gets our order for our chicken wings and fried rice and basically is so rude to the point where it's like, get the food and go. We'll be back there 3 times in a week. And there's no problem. Even
you get disrespected all 3 times.
Even in a sense of being disrespected 3 times, still show back and give $8. That to me is the bigger issue. We just say, the hell with our businesses, the idea of creating businesses, whether we're in a mental, it's too hard, I won't get support, but we will support every other culture. And to me, when you see other cultures coming in, not only serving their own culturally appropriated things, whether it's food or other stuff that they have in their culture, but taking what we endear, what we love, whether it's having let's say black people really love fried chicken. We'll just use that example. I hate that the example I have to use, but you'll have a Middle Eastern person come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go into this neighborhood and I'm going to create a chicken and waffles, right? Yeah. And be okay. And then get a pass to where if I decided to say, I'm going to go make, like pitas, you feel me? A more Greek community or whatever like that, man, it would be hell to pay.
And so sticking with that is that if a Middle Eastern person, if a Latino, if an Asian person opened up a chicken and waffle spot in a predominantly black neighborhood, and let's just say you got
Negroes is supporting.
Well, let's say you got 7 of the 11 herbs and spices right. They'll be, oh, okay, all right, you're kind of doing your thing a little bit. We have to create 13 herbs and spices for us to not start talking trash about the business. If they got half of it, like, okay, all right, that's all right. Well, okay, that tastes okay. Asian dude got some chicken, got a little bit of flavor to it. Us, if it don't taste like grandma from Alabama or Mississippi or Louisiana, we got all 31 flavors to talk about what's wrong with the business.
Exactly.
And so I think where we're at now that we have to be real about is the way that the economy is, the way that it's become a global economy, the way between the brick and mortar stuff is shifting, a lot of online stuff. A lot of people have figured out that in America, multiple revenue streams. People have still figured out other ways to get their paper. Yeah. More and more people are like, I don't need your dollar anymore.
Not at all. You're expendable.
And so the old narrative of, well, I got cash, well, I got money, well, I can afford it, is being met with, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, as well as there's like before, if you think about it, when this whole thing started, there was a lot more, black people here, right? Think about how many black people died during slavery, right? The enslavement of our people, and how we've had multiple cultures now have moved in. Latino, we have Asian, Middle Eastern. You know how you have so many folks that have come here that have spread the volume of people of color, right? You know, even though some folks don't like to use that angle, I mean, it is what it is. So our value once before as workers expendable, like before the work that our immigrant brothers and sisters are doing is what we used to do, and no longer we don't do it, right? So why it's so important to me when I discuss these things, and some folks think I'm way out with my idea, but when you look at it, the way out shit that I was saying in 2010 or 2014, like everyone's looking like, oh, well, shit, 2018, Barry was on his shit. Well, you know, it's just what it is. You just got to look at the dynamics of how this world works, right? We are only defined by really two major elements, and that's sports and entertainment. But I mean,
you can make the argument that they're under the same umbrella.
I mean, well, yeah, and we can make the argument of that. But in a reality, what most of us as black people, when we're talking about a lot of money to be obtained, and where a majority of us are highlighted in a more positive lens, it is that where there's a majority, right? Even though black lawyers could probably be the majority, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that there's not more black lawyers than entertainers, not saying that. Yeah. But
what's highlighted stuff,
and what our youth will know and what we'll see.
There's a lot of black dentists you don't hear about.
Exactly.
There's a lot of black accountants you don't hear
There's
about.
There's a lot of black wealth.
Well, I'm just saying
we can identify with.
Just for the folks out there, there's a lot of black therapists. There's a lot. Here's the thing that goes along with that, though. It's consistent. Because we don't support a lot of those things, our most prominent versions of those work in other communities.
Exactly. So when we go in there, we look at that. I can say that as a young person, I want to grow up, and I want to grow up and be a LeBron James.
Okay.
A young person, I grow up, I want to be a Beyonce. A young person, grow up, I want to be a Drake. It's what you see on a constant basis, right? My theory is the only thing that holds us truly back in a lot of ways is if we were able to sit there and say, because at the end of the day, all our entertainers, as you say, you could probably put them in both the same category, especially now. But let's just, for sake of argument, just say sports and entertainment, right? All of those funnel and support white supremacy. Right? I mean, in a larger scale. I mean, we all do in a way, but in a major sufficient way. If basketball players who were black walked away from basketball and said, we're going to start our own basketball league, right?
Yeah.
The NBA, as we know it, wouldn't survive a day. Wouldn't survive a freaking day. You create that power shift. If the NFL players walked off, black NFL players walked off and say, we're not going to play a game, there's going to be such a domino effect in the shift. Yeah, relatively, some of those sports will try to maintain its prowess. And, well, we don't need the black people. We got Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. But just like if you looked at the LeBron James situation, and I always use this preference of LeBron James, when he basically said his white owner, or didn't tell his white owner that, hey, I'm out of here, I'm going to be my own dependent black man. And the white owner basically had that racist letter, pretty much, and basically called them the N-word without calling them the N-word. And it was like business as usual. We're going to do better without LeBron, right? But then a year or so later, when merchandise is being sold, you can't get the sweets sold, TV revenue is gone. You're begging for LeBron. If he even hopes to come back, I'll give you everything, right? No. LeBron James comes back, business is back to normal. The hit will be taken, but it's for a better cause in my idea, because when black people are able to control their own destiny and the thing that they invest in so much but don't even profit in long term, it becomes a death certificate for all, because none of these damn infrastructures do anything for our communities that's going to help uplift our communities unless you have them in a stranglehold. So with black people saying, hey, you know what? We want to start our own league. Like, we want to have our own basketball league. That's pretty much ensuring that money, ownership, it's all black. The way that we have it is we have black players playing and they're high priced slaves, and they're giving it back to open up those big golf resorts. They're giving it back to open up those Starbucks franchises. You know what I'm saying? Because here are black players playing, and they're playing for themselves, so they believe, but they're really playing for white slave master, and white slave master is going back to their community and funneling their community. They're supporting their business industries. They're looking at their private investments. They ain't looking at black private investments. Why would I want to invest in a black community and keep it black? What I'll do is I will gentrify it. So I believe that in sports more than entertainment, because I don't think that they even need us in entertainment because they got that pretty much locked. If we walked away from sports and said we're going to do our own thing, you would see a domino effect, because all of those chains are connected so much with sports. That's why sports is such a high like degree of a thing where we celebrate the Super Bowl like it's a holiday, where the NBA Finals, when you get there to Game 7, it's a big deal. All those different things play so much in our culture that the funnel of money, I believe, could do so much if it was reverted to saying black people say, you know what, we don't even want to participate.
Okay, well, let's just say you leave the system the way that it is. The NBA as it is, the NFL the way it is. Where do we start shifting? So keep the NBA exactly the way it is. And all of a sudden, like, you had Jeremy Lin, and you saw the Asian community get behind Jeremy Lin when they had the whole Linsanity thing, when he had those 10 good games, and they thought he was the second coming of Magic. Or when Yao Ming was playing, how the Asian community rallied behind him and drove. Like, if all of a sudden if you put in 35 really, really good top tier Asian players, like, what do you think that their community would look like with a Steph Curry contract?
Oh my God.
If you interjected 25, 35 really good Jewish players, 35 really good Latino players, like, all of a sudden, and I'm not talking about because they're the journeymen that are number 13 on the roster. I'm talking about getting James Harden money.
What?
What I say that is if you took that, where all of a sudden they're getting $220 million contracts, $150 million, what they would do with their own money back to the communities in which they came from, what would be the shift that would take? Because we have some guys who come back and do stuff on a small scale.
Shouts out to my brother Garrett Temple and Doug Christie, V Carter.
But if you look at, by and large, the bulk,
they don't.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying leaving the institution the way it is.
Leaving it the same way it is right now, we're seeing what they do. Yeah. Because Asians are invested in the NBA. I mean, come on. I mean, this is the global economy that they're talking about, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying, what would be something that would start? Because being something
I think it would be
to get these guys who were making anywhere from the $200 million to the $2 million through their careers to reinvest back where they came from. Leave the infrastructure alone. If the white owners at the top don't ever give a dime to the community,
you got to walk away from
these players.
You got to walk away from the system, though. You got to create your own system. You got to go do what Ice Cube is slowly doing. Ice Cube is doing something that is powerful. You got to be able to walk away from the system. That's the only way it's going to work, because everybody that you're saying, those folks have invested. They may not have the players, but they have the investment. So as they invest, they can be able to open up doors in their community. So you see it all the time. I mean, that's why I respect the Asian community so much, is because they get it. You know what I'm saying? We are the only people that challenge ourselves to the point where we're always trying to kind of figure out, and this sick kind of way, why does our abuser not love us? And to me, it's just like, okay, well, how do we show them that without us there will be no you? You step away from the relationship. I don't know how. I mean, it's just like you step away from the relationship. You allow that person to see how it is without me. LeBron James, when he left to go to Miami the first time, and when I fell in love with the idea of a black man taking power without saying or asking, because he knew far well that if I bust my knee and if I wasn't LeBron James, I'd be just another Negro getting traded as soon as my window closed. I am going to go do what I need to do for my family, for my legacy, and I am going to continue to brand myself, and I'm going to walk away from a place that I gave 7 years for. People looked at it, it was like it was unloyal, blah, blah, blah. I celebrated like, wow, there's somebody that finally gets it. Became a big LeBron James fan, wanted him to win every title after that, because to me it means something. Now, in 2018, we see how powerful that move was, because it allowed other players to now walk in and do exactly what he's do. Take back power. If you got to take a little bit of power, you took back power. In the NBA, you only have one owner that's black. One owner in a league that's predominantly black. In the Major League Baseball, you have, out of 32 teams, you have one manager that is black, right? And of course, there was a lot more black folks in the early 80s, 70s, 60s that played baseball, but still, there's still a lot of black people that still are in minor leagues, in Major League, but you only have one black manager. I don't even want to talk about the zero ownership that we have for black folks in the NFL, or the lack thereof of head coaches. But here it is. All of these major sport entities are creating and branding and are owned by those folks that own the Walmarts, that own like the Starbucks. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get that. So I'm saying, if the mentality is the way it is now, even if we everybody walks away from the current leagues, how much would actually be reinvested into the community? Or would it? So what I'm saying is that if you left the way that the institutions are now, it doesn't mean forever, but if we're just going off of today, why you have all these athletes of all these different sports who go on to make millions of dollars, who feel no obligation to reinvest where they came from.
Different tax bracket now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so how much of that is a cultural problem within, as opposed to a systemic issue externally? Because I'm thinking, if the thought process is the same,
I think it's both, but I think it's also it's when you play into a system, man. It's just like, again, you're in an abusive relationship. If you've been abused for so long, you just are following the trend. It's so difficult to a machine that is giving you stability, coming off of a place where you had no stability, and to say, we're going to walk away. It's going to have to be some real courageous folks to walk away and kind of create that. And the starting point is just like, once upon a time, none of these sports were as important as they are before. They weren't. None of it was that serious. Now it's that serious. So would folks leave and invest in the community? We don't know.
No. I'm saying, what would it take to start to get them to invest while they're still there today? Well, because it's trying to put the cart before the horse. If the mentality isn't there to reinvest within the community and to build, I think start an old league.
I think they believe that they do, and I don't think they do it enough. I don't think that they really see a bigger picture. I think they believe they invest by, you got folks doing movies, you got folks being more culturally aware, you got folks donating money here and there. I don't think they really understand the importance of infrastructure. I don't really think that they don't really understand the importance of franchising. The fact that Toys R Us are dying, or just basically about to be done. The fact that Blockbusters are no longer here. Good Guys are no longer here. Claire's earrings are no longer here. All these things, Kmart's are no longer here. A whole bunch of Walmart's closing, a whole bunch of Macy's closing, Sears closing. The list goes on and on. That is taking away jobs, right? Where are those people going to work? So the fact that we don't realize that these things and these people that are closing up shop, don't get me wrong, they're closing up shop, but they're probably investing in something else. They're like, all right, you know what? Done with that. Those people don't have work. The people that owned it, they're not going to be sitting there under a fucking highway anytime soon.
Just the employees.
Right? Yeah. So the fact that these are places that employ a lot of people of color, we no longer have these because a lot of stuff is going online. Where are we going to have these people? Why don't you see that investing in creating our own shit is going to be more detrimental than ever? Because daddy daycare ain't going to even be able to provide what he used to provide for you. I think that's what I'm trying to like shovel the idea. T.I. said, we need to boycott Starbucks. And I laugh at this whole boycott shit. Okay, well, you say that. You got a whole bunch of money, Negro. Open up a fucking line of cocoa bucks. And I mean, cocoa mocha bucks. You know what I'm saying? For coffee. I mean, do that.
Because it's a lot. There are a lot of Starbucks that are pretty much run by a lot of people of color.
Yes.
So you say the same thing. Okay, well, we're not going to eat there anymore. We're not going to drink there anymore. We're not going to do this.
But
anymore.
they employ black people.
That's what I'm saying. So what happens is those things take a hit. They start cutting off the employees.
And then what niggas are going to work at?
Jobs and
so we don't provide an alternative. So we want to complain about the issue, but we don't want to provide an alternative. That's why I'm saying here's alternatives. This is what we should do. But we have been. And this is what I hate, like, you know, this whole idol worshiping, this dick riding shit is out of control. We spend so much time chasing a celebrity's lifestyle. We spend so much time hoping, dreaming, and thinking about if I could have been. I used to be in that place a long time ago thinking like, wow, that could be me. You know, fuck all that celebrity hype shit. You know what I'm saying? If I'm able to be in a place, in a position to where I have a lot of clout, but I could do a lot more, I'm going to gradually, you know, getting all my people in like I'm supposed to, but I'm going to spread the love like I need to. I think we do so much dick riding on our own selves that we just don't hold nobody accountable. In this 2018, the fact that we even still talk about R. Kelly in his perverted way, like we don't have him somewhere in a ditch, it tricks me out. The fact that we have, oh my God, did you hear what Kanye West said? Who gives a fuck? If he wants to sit there and celebrate Donald Trump, we got a lot more issues than worrying about him. We hold on to everything celebrities do, and we don't realize a lot of these celebrities that we hold on to don't do shit for the community.
Realistically, Ben Carson will do more damage to your life than Kanye West.
And then and that's the reality. So it's like we buy in to this imagery because it's sold to us by media. That's why I say the thing that we see more often, sports and entertainers in the black community. So we gear to that. You said there's probably more dentists and we're thinking about more lawyers than there are successful successful basketball players. Because here's what we got to understand. All those kids that are in college, everybody ain't making the NBA, right? And then all those NBA players, everyone ain't going to be Kobe. Everyone ain't going to be Ben Simmons. Everyone's not going to be LeBron.
3-year career for a professional athlete.
Man, it's like 3 to 5, right?
3 years about the average, and then you're broken 5.
And then 15 years of LeBron James being excellent, that's a major, right? That's a major. So the lifespan of also entertainment is short-lived. Yeah, you probably will have a little bit of a comeback. If you made
it's literally the same.
If you made great hits,
successful musician, you're 3 to 5 years. If you can stay in the game,
be legend, come back
3 to 5 years, and then you're journeyman like in sports. There's those actors that you can't name their name, but they've been in 15 movies.
Yeah,
you don't remember that. You couldn't. If I gave you their name, you would no idea. But if I said the one dude in the one movie, you'd be, oh yeah. Same thing. So
in a sense of what I believe. That in theory, what screws us up royally is that white kids, they don't, though they may like hope for a dream of playing sports, their reality is they see so much of what is more attainable to them. Yeah. Doctor, lawyer, politician. They see that on an everyday basis. Every time they're seeing a news anchor, he's white. They're seeing a business person, they're white. Things that are owned are white. They're like, I'm going to play basketball for high school. I'm pretty decent at it. But the real deal is I'm going to end up being a real estate agent. Where black kids, from an early age, really believe that they're going to be like Mike. And the funniest part about that dream that was sold with Gatorade was such a great marketing scheme because every single kid wanted to be like Mike, right? Nobody wanted to be like Malcolm X. Nobody wanted to be like Marcus Garvey. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. And you had kids selling their soul, trying to get to some place that they will never get, because the percentile is such a small percentage of folks that get in, or even to be that major of a success and to be able to cross over. You have all of our kids wishing upon a star to be these entertainers and these sports athletes, where these white kids are being trained, are being shown a different side. Like, let's be realistic. You'll never be able to fly like Mike. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Peyton Manning, I think it would probably be better for you not to be Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning's agent, right? They get trained in a whole different level of seeing things, where we are having 28-year-olds still believing that, I can fly and I'm going to get into the league somehow, some way. And that is not being trained in any other community except our community.
These are some things that we fundamentally have to look at, in the sense of, if we want to be treated better, then that starts at home.
Wow, man. I didn't know we was almost over. I was about to get on my Kanye West. I had so much stuff to do.
Well, we got to start looking at how we treat each other, how we see each other, how we view ourselves. Recognizing the value in owning our own. When you're constantly asking somebody else to treat you well, you put your feelings, your respect, all that in somebody else's hands, and they may not do with it what you would like them to do. It's showing more and more on a day-to-day basis that, they don't care.
They don't really care about what's that? What's that?
You're right.
Michael Jackson.
They don't really care about us. Yeah, that just because you can afford it, they don't care. You got the job, they don't care. You got the degree, they don't care. They're being shown more and more how folks truly feel about you. And like I said, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Black people need to wake up and do our own thing, and it's not going to be bad. It's okay. We got to sometimes get out of daddy's basement and do what we need to do. It's everyone is doing it. Everyone does it. We are the only race that looks racist when we do it, racist when we talk about it, even though how can we be racist when we have no power? But we really do have the power, so let's go ahead and let's obtain it, man.
Things that we need to address and talk about.
Say something!
Say Something podcast. Where can folks find you online, Barry?
Barry Accius. My Twitter game is crazy right now. I'm back on Twitter at Barry Accius, BerryAccius. Facebook, same thing, Barry Accius, and at Team Boy on IG, blackblueprints.com with a Z.
I'm Jermaine Morris on Facebook. Every other social media platform is at JMorrisCEO. This has been the Say Something podcast.
Say something.
And until next show, we will holler at you later.
Yes, sir.